If you're not confident in what you're selling, the client's not going to believe in you. And if you believe in your product and in your team and in your guys, in your delivery and your systems and all of that, the clients are going to be more engaged in you because they're going to feel more comfortable that you know what you're talking about and you know how to deliver.
Welcome to the Builder and Marketing Podcast, a show about how to best position your building business in your marketplace. And on this episode, JB sits with Jack from Birch Build, a company that specializes in providing their clients with resort-style living. We wanted to hear his thoughts on how he went from chasing clients to clients chasing him, all through implementing 5 key principles, beginning with how your network is your net worth.
That's something that I've seen you being very intentional over the last 3 years about who you hang out with, who you seek advice from, and that sort of thing. Can you break down a bit about what that looks like for you?
You are who the 5 people closest to you. I have chosen to surround myself by like-minded people, and even in who we choose to work with, it's massive. The language is the same. And you're learning constantly every day, so that's been massive on that network. You need a good network of people around you, and it's been amazing to actually have that.
Maybe to go deeper on that, because there's examples in my head that you've shared with me in the past. Well, 2 things. One is like that network, and you could take that as like, what position are you putting yourself in at that moment, on that day, and who's standing around me that I can go and talk to start building connection with. But then there's who are the people that you are consistently hanging around and building relationships with as well. I kind of look at it in those two ways. But like, take for example the builder workshop that you came to in Brisbane 2 years ago. What happened? You chose to come there. You were already working with us. So it wasn't like we were trying to sell you more or anything like that. I mean, that's not the purpose of the workshops either, but you still chose to show up. Talk to me about what happened from then on.
Yeah. Well, Tim's been, he's another builder that I met, and Tori, his wife, she actually approached me on the day and said, "Oh, you're from the Gold Coast. We should have dinner." Because she knew she could get value. And
that's crazy to hear that she said that, because in my mind, you guys have been friends forever.
Yeah.
So to hear Tori say like, "Oh, you're on the Gold Coast, let's catch up." So, man, it's so odd for them to engage with you like that, because you guys are like best friends now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
So 2 years,
Go back.
2 years later,
we're
giving each other jobs, using a lot of the same trades, and working, closely together. And not competitors, but actually learning from each other, because doing a lot of the same things. That's been amazing.
Was that a hard thing to get into your head? Because some guys would naturally be like, "Oh, you're from the Gold Coast, I work in the Gold Coast, we're both in construction, instantly competitor, I won't talk to you."
Not at all.
Not at all?
No.
Okay.
If anything, it was, I think we must have both felt this can be beneficial for both of us.
Yeah.
And it has been massively.
Okay.
Like, we ring each other every Monday morning and go, "Run." Like, just boosting each other.
Yeah.
So that's been amazing.
Yeah.
And like we spoke about, network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Having people like that in your circle is huge. You have a problem, you go, "Oh, I'll ring Tim.
Yeah.
What do you do here?
Yeah.
How do you do this?" And vice versa.
So you got someone to bounce things off from. Yeah. And I know there was a period there where you guys were both consuming from the same mentor as well.
Yeah.
And so you would be receiving information from him, Tim would go and hang out with him and receive information, and then you guys would then
put it all together
share notes.
Yeah. To get the most out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say have been other effects that have come from that? Again, that net worth. Where else have you seen it play out in your life and business?
Just in general, from meeting people, like, people sharing books, for instance, or other things, like 5 a.m. club or whatever they may be, mindset from other people, where you can learn little traits and habits, discipline, those kind of things.
Yeah. Okay.
So definitely, someone's always got something good to say.
Yeah, that's true.
But you have to be willing to listen and be open to that. You have to be hungry. You have to want to learn.
Yeah, that's a big one. You have to want it, otherwise you won't live and consume it. Another one that I've heard where you've shared it with me in the past has been your trades. Choosing your trades based on, well, who do I want to be hanging out with on site? And do they bring their garbage to site? Or how are they influencing or affecting my team or my clients?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, so definitely team is something that takes years to build. Again, by being able to share trades, because, obviously Tim and I have been around for 20 years each, so you work up a good base of people, and we've been able to almost filter through his guys and my guys, all the contractors, to then create a good team and then keep them busy so they're working either for him or I.
Wow.
But just really honing in on quality guys.
Yeah. So effectively you're filtering through trades twice as fast.
Yeah. So that's a massive benefit. Again, it's not a competition. There's not enough.
It's just an upside there. There's
to
no
keep
downside.
it, say, an electrician or a plumber or someone or concrete or whoever they may be going.
Yeah.
So you may as well both use that same guy.
Yeah. So for those listening, you'd recommend go and find a builder or two or three.
For sure.
Build that network and then go, cool, who are maybe some trades that we like or recommend? And then if we can all use him, we can keep him busy and then we keep him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. And that's then a benefit for that trade.
Exactly.
Like gives him security and...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when people start thinking like that, it's crazy what gets built.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at a lot of communities around the world where they've got that mindset.
Yeah.
And they just work with one another and build each other up. Another one is, when we have a breakfast every now and again, you always, one of the first to respond and say, yeah, I'm in, I'll be there. And there are others that come to that breakfast. There are some pretty cool thinkers around that table, how they think, how they approach challenges and problems. What's been some of the takeaways from that?
Well, for one, and we talk about a lot, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite funny. You might be feeling scared and you go in and you hear what some of these other guys are doing and you go, well, why am I even scared? Like, this is like kindergarten, what I'm doing compared to some of these other guys.
Yeah.
So definitely, I heard a good one the other day from Ali. 33, 33, 33.
That was a good one.
That was really good.
Yeah.
So...
do you want to break down what 33, 33, 33 means? Yeah.
So, we're on the 33. There's people that are, I think you use the word less fortunate.
Yeah.
That word, I don't know if is quite the right word to use, but let's use it for now. People that haven't quite learned or not quite where you are. And then there's the people that are more advanced, that have learnt and have grown further and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's about helping the people less fortunate, but also hanging with the people that are more fortunate to learn.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
That's a really big, and going to sitting at these tables, that's me hanging with the more fortunate.
Yeah.
And that is bringing me up and massively has in the last few years.
Yeah.
But then helping, I've got a girl that I sponsor, for instance, that's less fortunate. I know you guys are on board as well.
Yeah.
And some of the other guys in the group, and that's really cool, is to be able to help someone to,
achieve her goals.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
She's hungry.
She's massively hungry.
Yeah.
So riding BMX. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Sick. I spoke to her dad the other day and just learnt more about what she's doing, and she's now getting mentored by one of the best.
One of the best in the world. She's like third in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's all come because the support that she's got now and how she's feeling, and that's projecting, like that has really changed her turning up. Yep. So now she turns up, she knows she's backed by people and all of that kind of stuff. It's changed the way she's feeling. And
that's crazy.
It's
but like that is mental to start thinking about that effect and impact that you're starting to have, but it's come from who you're hanging around.
Yeah.
And because of the choice that you've made and who you're hanging around and what you choose to consume, that gives you the ability to have that kind of impact on this girl, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that 33% was, I found that pretty interesting. 33% of your time spent with people like yourself that are going through the same challenges.
Yeah.
bouncing, like, you and Tim, 33% spending time with less fortunate. I know one of the guys that came to the breakfast the other day, very, very new to business development, new to business, and you were, easily engaged with him and helped point some things out and gave him some good feedback. So already you're exposing yourself to those that aren't really where you are at. And then hanging out with some of those guys in the breakfast that are in the top 33%, or in the upper. But then also, and I've seen like some of the guys in that breakfast. One of the guys in particular, a designer, and just through your exposure with him, has built rapport, and now you get exposed to a lot of the work that he's designed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What kind of impact has that had on your business?
Oh, that's been great. Like, I had a guy call me yesterday, and he wants to do a big new build.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, some of these designers, they charge an arm and a leg." And I must, mate, just gotta go with Stuart. Like, I work with him all the time. This is who you need to use. But Stuart's giving us jobs, which has been great. So over
You've
time,
built that trust with him.
You build a bit of rapport, and you're able to work on a lot of the same projects together. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. It is crazy how. I mean, I wouldn't really articulate it when it comes to the whole law of attraction thing. I wouldn't articulate it like that. I just say if you keep focused and you keep putting in, luck. What's it like? Luck happens when you've prepared and you've turned up ahead of time. Then luck happens.
Yeah.
But just funny, like you keep turning up these breakfasts, you keep hanging out with these people. Then you won that job next to Stuart's own house, and just that was like all these things kept lining up. So eventually it was like, man, Jack, you're everywhere. Jack, you're doing great stuff. And then it was like, oh wow, Jack, I didn't realize you could do that. And now he's exposing you to bigger, better projects. If you picture yourself 3 or 4 years ago, what would you tell Jack back then?
I don't even know where to start. A lot. It's been like a whole new apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So becoming a builder is one thing, getting your builder's license, but actually becoming a builder or a business person
owner,
is a whole new apprenticeship. Like a lot of guys will do their carpentry and then get their builder's license, but you're basically a carpenter with a builder's license. To become a builder, there's a lot of work you need to do on yourself, and investing in yourself has been probably the biggest thing that I've ever done, and I wish I had done it 15
I've heard a lot of
20
big
years
thinkers talk about that. It's like
should have done
the best
earlier.
ROI you'll ever get on any investment is in yourself, and self-education.
For sure.
The second topic that you raised was the impact and the effect of marketing apart from just leads, because that's something people want to ask us and go, well, how many leads am I going to get, or when did the leads start coming? What did I'm not sure if you can remember, or what just generally comes to mind when you think of the impact and the effect of marketing apart from the leads?
So it's about planting the seed early. You realise that it's about your brand. People are seeing your car, people are seeing your site signs, people are seeing your videos and your advertising, and it's a whole big picture. Which is omnipresence. I went to a site visit the other day, and she goes, "Oh, you look exactly like your videos." It was perfect because they feel like they know you already. Yeah. So we're finding that people are coming to us 6 months or even a year later. Yeah. Which is great. So it's more about building that brand and building that circle of people that are watching and following. Yeah. To then engage when the time is right. So it's not all about week to week. We don't want to have 40 leads coming in every week. We want selected projects and have a few a year that are the right ones. That's the business model that we run anyway. You couldn't physically do 40 jobs a week anyway. So you only need one good lead to come through. And it's about filtering and having a niche and marketing that exact type of project and type of builder you are, to then line that one client or two or three. So I think that's where it's important.
Break that down a bit for us, because I know that's been a big thing for you. You've seen the effects of it, niching. getting clear on that niche.
Yeah.
And I heard you discussing that at the group at the breakfast the other day, and with the new guy that was there, mentioned to him the importance of niching and understanding your clientele, and then marketing to that clientele and marketing for that type of client and project. Talk to us about that.
Well, I talked about ideal clients with him, and he goes, well, that is just a dream. And I said to him, it's actually not. It just depends how you position yourself and how you market that to that ideal client. Who is your ideal client? What type of projects do you want to work on? Because if you're emotionally there, invested in wanting to build this project, you're going to build a much better project, and your value then is going to be, you know, to that client, because you're there and you're enjoying that that particular build. So niche is definitely important to. I think for me, mostly it's personal on how I feel about waking up and doing that job. Yeah. Like, why would you want to have a job that you don't like? Yeah. A lot of people do. I don't understand it. Like if I'm not fully into it, I can't get up and go to work. Like I have to love what I do. Yeah. And then you can deliver. So that's what I was explaining to that guy. Is target marketing, having a niche, being a specialist in one area, and picking those things that you want to work on. Yeah. Everyone likes working on different types of things. Yeah. You know, for us, we like pools and pool houses, building holidays at home for people.
That's right.
So,
you know, do you want to come home to a holiday?
Yeah. Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
So that's what I like to create, because it's fun. It's, you know, we're building holidays. You know, we've got pools and we've got decks and we've got all of those plants and water features. And for me, that's fun. Yeah. I like doing that type of work. Yeah. We do major renovations and new builds and all of those, but they need to also have that aspect. If someone wants us to just build a box, I call it a box, just a basic sort of, you know, a house with no garden. Well, I'm not interested, because there's no resort style luxury kind of outdoor music sound. It's like a movie without sound. I had this conversation with a guy yesterday. He goes, I want to build a $1.5 million house. And he goes, can you do that? I said, yeah. And he goes, does that include landscaping? I said, probably not. I said, you probably want to spend at least $300 minimum on the outside. He goes, yeah, I understand that. So, you know, and explained it's like having a movie without sound. And he's come to us because he knows we do both. The new house is going to need a garden. Yeah. If he doesn't put that garden in, it's like having those extras. He explained to me his mate built a house and his other mate built a house. One didn't do the gardens and the other one sort of did. Yeah. And he goes, the difference in the two places was massive.
Wow.
So we've already done the gardens for this particular guy years ago, and I know that he understands. I know that he understands quality, and I know he likes good value. Yeah. So we're excited about that because it fits the
niche, fits who you want to help. It fits what we're wanting to do.
So this could be the next project.
Big thing a lot of guys don't do is charge for their time. You know, they'll spend all day running around, all week running around doing call outs to go and, you know, look at a project, talk to a client, and it's not just the half hour or 2 hours or more sometimes they spend with their client at the home. It's the driving, it's the headspace, it's the energy zapping, and they're not charging for any of that. Maybe share with the people watching this what's something that you've implemented, where it started and where it is now.
Okay, so we never used to charge for site visits. From coaching, I got onto charging, and we started charging. We were doing 200 plus GST, and that was working great. People were happy to pay.
At that point, what changed?
So it changed the way I turn up and the time that I was giving them and the problems I was solving for them, but also feeling valued. So by them paying, you know, they're happy to invest in you. That already makes them an ideal client because you know they're happy to invest in you and in your time. So they're value-based.
Their money's doing the talking.
Yeah, they're value-based, not dollar-based. Yeah. So that was the big start. that's the first part of it.
And that amount has slowly increased?
Yeah, so we increased the amount due to the type of projects we want to work on.
Yeah.
And we were getting a lot of smaller jobs come through at the 200. So, plus GST. We wanting to work on bigger jobs and have less ones come through the door. So we increased our minimum job on the website, on the questionnaire, but also the amount that we charge.
Yeah.
Which is now 500 plus GST. But people are happy. We're spending, the last one I did was 2 hours on site, hour drive each way.
Yeah.
Several hours at home. Another site visit with Stuart to go back. Don't charge for the second visit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that 500 is easy gone.
Yeah.
And you're mad if you're not charging for that time.
Yeah.
Because you'd be doing 10 a day for free, and it's
Yeah.
20 years of experience and knowledge.
That's a big
and
thing.
you can save them 50,000 by going, no, let's pave this instead of concreting it or whatever.
Yeah.
You're giving them all your ideas for free.
Yeah.
And then they go and get someone else to build it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, have to charge,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I know one thing you've shared with me is just how they turn up to that meeting as well.
For sure.
Once they've paid.
Oh, yeah.
They're more
They turn up
prepared.
prepared.
Yeah.
They have a list. They've got the questions, all of that.
Yeah.
So it's a much better meeting, and it's professional
Yeah.
from both sides.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys at this stage, they can't even conceive charging for quotes, let alone charging for a site meeting when they haven't even worked,
But
or
that
dealt
is
or
you
engaged.
working, and it is 20 years of your knowledge
Yeah.
that you're sharing.
When did that click for you? That, oh my goodness, yeah, that is. I'm the one bringing all the knowledge and experience here. Why am I not charging for this?
Well, I've actually known about this for probably 20 years.
Okay.
Because when I was an apprentice, we used to do consultations
Okay.
with the boss that I was working for
Yeah.
in Sydney years ago. So I have known about this concept for a long time, and they used to say, we're not giving our ideas away for free.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were $80 an hour. I think it was 160, I think, for the site visit back then. But we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And people were paying.
Yeah.
So it's not a new thing. Quotes, definitely. Like a quote could be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or at least a week of your time, depending on the size of it.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
When you're looking at a decent sized job. So, have to charge for quotes.
Yeah.
Like you're spending so much time.
How do you go about educating the client on that? That's a big thing that we push is if the client doesn't understand why you're doing it, it's only because they lack education. And so then taking responsibility to provide that education.
Yeah.
How do you go about articulating that to a prospect?
So by charging, and we use an outsourced estimator.
Okay.
And we have had in-house estimators, but we use now an outsourced. You are getting everything broken down to the how many bricks you need, what it's worth to lay per brick. Like every little detail is in that. So when you do come to build, it's not just, oh yeah, this is going to cost you $1 million or two. It's down to the detail. So you can go, oh, we can monitor it through the whole build.
Yeah.
And you can actually use that for the trades. Go, oh, we've only allowed $5 a block. We can't pay you $6 per block to be laid. So you have this tool, it costs between $1,000 and $3,000 to get your job priced. That's nothing on a $1 million,
Yeah, yeah.
So that little bit of money spent on getting the priced properly, because that's the difference, it has to be priced properly by a professional, not by the builder. The builder is not an estimator. He has some knowledge, but it needs to be done by a proper estimator. So it's beneficial for the build.
Yeah.
That's where we educate to the client, and I think most people understand it's pretty easy to understand that.
I think once you explain it, though, I think there'd be a lot of people out there that in their minds it's like, well, you're the builder, don't you do this every day? Can't you just spit it out of your thumb and tell me how much it'll cost?
Prices change week to week.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe not that we're big fans of mass media here, but I think mass media have helped a little bit in that sense in the last 2-3 years to educate the large audience on pricing does fluctuate and definitely does go up as well.
Yeah, for sure.
The fourth topic that I want to raise, confidence is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, you raised that with me
Yeah.
in two contexts.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about it in a business context. Why is confidence hot and where does it work?
If you're not confident in what you're selling, the client's not going to believe in you. Like, confidence is everything.
Yeah.
You have to believe what you're selling. And if you believe in your product and in your team and in your guys and in your delivery and your systems and all of that, the clients are going to be more engaged in you because they're going to feel more comfortable that you know what you're talking about and you know how to deliver.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer. Like, you cannot be in business if you don't have the confidence to be able to back yourself and sell what you're preaching, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a step back because there are a lot of guys out there that don't have the confidence to do it. Well, it's not that. Maybe they have the confidence to do what they're doing right now, but they don't like where they are right now. They want to be doing better projects, bigger projects, better quality, better clients. They want to be hiring better teams, creating better teams, better culture. So they're not happy with where they want to get to, but to get to that, they've got to increase their confidence to go out and sell in order to get a project that's bigger and better.
Yeah.
What have you found has been really useful in helping you achieve or manufacture, create, maintain that confidence, grow the confidence?
Network.
Okay.
It's for starters.
Yeah.
Like, back to where we talked about before.
Yeah.
Your network is your net worth, and your 5 people around you are always, if you surround yourself by confident people, if you're constantly investing in yourself, whether it's books or seminars or whatever they may be, workshops, you've got to be hungry, like we talked about. You want to be the best in the world in BMX, you've got to be hungry. You have to turn up.
Yeah.
So you've got to turn up, you've got to be hungry and surround yourself by the right people. And by doing that, it just comes automatically. If you don't have that.
I had something just click there for me. If you're trying to win a job and it's bigger than what you've done before, and so you might not be having that confidence because you think, oh man, I've never done this job before. It's big. In your world, it's big. In your world, it's everything. It's outside of your comfort zone. But like what you said earlier is if you're hanging around people that are doing much bigger stuff, then all of a sudden, it feels like what you're doing is it's actually not that big.
No, it's not.
And
you're totally capable. Like we spoke about, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Yeah. Like, you really have to be hungry and you have to be wanting that. Do you want that job? Do you want to be doing that? Then yes, that's you. That's you turn up going, yes, I can build this. Yeah. Like, you have to build, like, it's massive mindset. Yeah. It's all in, like, I've really spent a lot of time on mindset in the last 6 months. And I believe that the brain is the most important thing that we have to deal with on a daily basis in life in general, from everything, because all of these thoughts and everything, we're in our head, we're thinking. How do you control that thought process? 80% of the things we think are not even really a thing, because we're thinking about the future, or we're thinking about this or that, and it's not even a thing.
I know Lee always says, like, if someone goes, oh, I have this problem, he says, but is it really a problem? Yeah. Like, what's a problem? Yeah. What is it? It's just a thing.
It's not even a problem. It's not even a thing. Yeah. So I've learned that, and that's massive. Like, it depends how you react to a situation. We get problems on site. What's the solution? Tim's great. Problem, solution, outcome. It really. So for me, life is about getting the head right. Once you've got that right, then everything becomes easy. Like, that's probably rule number one. I think. Like, rule number one is your head right. Get your brain and your head and your mental thinking process right, and then everything else becomes easy. It just depends how you're dealing with it and going into it. That mindset is probably the most important thing that I've learned in business.
Those of you listening, if you like what Jack's saying, I know there's a few books that another one of our YouTube videos. Check that out. There's about 6 books there that our team read, our builders read, and feedback was amazing. So that might be a good place to start. I know you've read some of those books. Is there one that comes to mind that you'd recommend off the top of your head, or something you'd recommend consuming?
I recommend The Surrender Experiment. I think that one's amazing. He talks a lot about the head.
Okay.
10X, awesome.
10X, yeah.
Grant
Great.
Cardone, amazing. That guy's mindset's just next level.
Yeah. He's brought out a new one called the 10X Mentor,
Oh, yeah.
which a few of us have listened to.
There's a 10X Junior for kids.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. I just saw
good.
it like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to
I think it's called 10X Junior.
get the little ones on that.
Yeah.
Rather than white noise at night, just play that. Now, for the last topic that I want to jump in today is team and culture. You've kind of been bringing it up every now and again. It weaves through a lot of what happens. Obviously, you can't do what you do without your team, and your team can't do what you need them to do without giving them the skill set, which then ties into the culture. You know, they can only do so much of that skill set, but they can go a lot further if the culture is conducive. And the other day on the phone, you talked about that and how important that is. But the other thing that I really liked you raised alongside that was input, output.
Yeah, massive.
Elaborate on that for me and the listeners.
So it's important to have a good team and a good culture, and by giving that little bit back to the team and rewarding for when they've done a good job, just changes their mindset, and they put way more back in.
Yeah.
You know, we give them a day out in a boat, or we have a golf day, whatever it may be. We have some beers on a Friday. The smaller things that just, you know, someone's birthday, we have some cake and some coffee, and take an hour or two out to, you know, to celebrate the day for that person, and it just changes how the team works. We've actually got a group chat with the whole team, and I post when we get, say, feedback from the client. Last Friday, man, Jack, your guys worked so hard today. I'll post that in the group. Thanks, guys. Client's really happy. Awesome.
That's good.
And then we've got a door that's sagged. I'll put in there, guys, you two, the door's sagging. And one of them, they both go, all right, we'll get up there and fix it. So it's really good. Take responsibility, go and fix it, get it done. But it's just really good to look after them, because then they're going to look after you. Yeah. And then it's just, the energy is so much different in the group when you have good culture. Like, that's super important. You have to want to be there, and you have to want to turn up. Yeah. You have to know that when you're not there, they're performing and they're keeping each other accountable. Yeah. Like, you know.
How do you create that? How do you help them do that? What are some things you've done or put in place?
You know, by talking to them and letting them know when things they've done is good, and even saying, you know, if you can put in and you do that extra, you will get rewarded. Yeah. You know, just by showing them, also by giving them the trust to be able to be there and do it, you know, by themselves.
I know one thing you mentioned a while back was you were away for a period of time.
Yeah,
and you had to
overseas.
learn to let go because you were going overseas.
Yeah,
and that was a big trip for you. I know, important in many ways. But I remember you mentioning on the way back that you really gave them more autonomy. Yeah. You paid them a bit more. You increased their wages, but you asked them to step up as well.
For sure.
And they really, you know, what's the word? They
took it on. Yeah.
Took it on.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And they were so grateful that, wow, Jack, you really do believe in us. And I think there's a lot of people out there that, where business owner needs to sort of let go a bit, because the guys working with the team want to take on more responsibility.
Yeah. And I came back, and they two of them in particular were, we want to further educate. We want to step it up to, you know, so, and then help them, pay for their education and move them up so they can advance. Yeah. So they can get to where they want to be. Yeah. You know, so that's
a big one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
aligning your goals with their goals. And I've heard a few guys. I know one of the workshops we did last year, that was a big topic on that day, because our workshops, you've been there, you know, we have what we want to be discussing in terms of educating the guys, but in large part, what gets discussed is dictated by the guys in the room on the day. Yeah. What do you guys want to discuss and learn from each other? I know one time it was under the main topic of like retention, you know, building team and culture, but then how do you retain? And one of the biggest things I think that came out of that for a lot of guys was an epiphany, was aligning individuals' goals with the company's goals. So the company's trying to get this. What are your goals? Great. How do we get those in alignment? One guy was a really cool story. He, in I think the height of COVID and the height of retention issues and guys jumping for $1, and one guy was like, our project manager is an absolute gun. We know he's getting approached by people. Let's sit him down and go, man, what is the biggest thing in your life right now that you want to? Do you have a problem, or do you have a goal? And he was like, well, I want to build my own house for my family. And they're like, cool. You stick with us, keep doing what you're doing. We'll have that house for, and they were like, at least another 5 years. We'll have that house built for you. And he was, so much short money needed, and they're like, we'll cover that, and we'll have it built for you, in 2 years' time.
Amazing.
And it was like, it was such a win-win, you know, and that would have meant way more to him than a pay increase. Just taking the time to understand what his goals were, aligning those.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
because it can't just be about you and your business. You have to be understanding, because these people are human as well and have goals. Otherwise, you're using them, and then they're going to go, and you're going to be left with no one, or you're going to be going through guys again and again and again. So that's massively important, culture and looking after your team, and then it's amazing how the team turns around and actually delivers back. Because they want to be there, they want to turn up.
I know that's been cool to hear from you when we catch up, and you're like, I got to site and my guys just took initiative. They just made the decision, and they know what the overall goal is. And they made the decisions and they executed on it. So they weren't calling you all day going, what do we do here? And where do we place this rock? And sick. Jack, big thank you, man. Thanks for coming in and sharing that. I really hope, and I know a lot of guys listening to this will get a lot out of it.
That's good, man.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.